Hello, this is a how-to video. I've been seeing a bunch of death metal how-to death metal growl videos, and back when I was a kid, we didn't have YouTube, and I had no one to teach me how to growl. And when I first started growling, I growled. You know, I didn't know how to do it. I just did it, and there is really no way how to tell you how to do it. Because how I do it is the way I do it, and how somebody else does it is the way they do it. But how I first started doing it, a lot of people say you don't want to destroy your vocal cords or some shit like that. But when I growled, it really hurt my throat really bad. So I just kept doing it, and then I think I eventually did destroy my vocal cords. And when I did, I had the best growls that I could do. And when I first started growling, I started growling 6 feet under, and like Cannibal Corpse, and that growl is just kind of like yelling but with low, and it's like, dead, dead, you soon to be dead. I throw a 12 gauge under my chin. You know, something like that. That's kind of like how it started when I started growling. Well, I'm trying to think of some other SFU lyrics. Rot, your body will rot. You know, that's kind of like how the growl would go. It's like, raw, yeah, we have to die. You know, that was the growl. And then I started listening to Dying Fetus, which was even lower, which at the time when I was a kid was the most lowest growl that I've heard, or one of the most lowest growls that I heard, and was one of the hardest growls that I heard. So I started trying to imitate that, and then that would be like, you know, something like that. And the best way, I think, to even practice growling is to listen to all your favorite bands and growl and try to imitate it as much as possible. When I growl, I don't do it from my stomach. I don't know, sometimes I thought I was doing it from my stomach. People say your diaphragm. I don't know, when I growl, I feel it like right here, and I do it like in the back of my mouth and the throat. When I listen to Disfiguring the Goddess, that helps me out a lot too. That dude can get some really good lows, and I just threw that in, and I tried practicing that. And other bands like Cerebral Bore, I don't know, some other stuff that's out there. And if anyone's going to tell you how to growl, they're full of shit. Cause I don't think you can learn it. You just have to do it. And I don't think it's a thing that can be taught. You just gotta fucking try it yourself. And my recommendation, people say you don't want to destroy your vocal cords, it'll hurt your throat. I personally destroyed my vocal cords, and I smoked a lot of cigarettes too, and I thought Camel Whites was the best thing for death metal growls. And I don't really know how to tell you how to growl, and I'm just going to tell you, you know, what I've done. I've been growling since I was 14. I just turned 24, and that's about it. So if there's any other growls that I would like to learn how to do, I can do some pig squeals, but all my pig squeals are exhales. I can't do any, and I can do some inhales. That's like my pig squeal. And then something like a frog. And my inhales, it took a long time to learn inhales. One day it was an accident. I just yawned and I did this weird inhale, and I was like, you know, that kind of sounded like a growl, and I kept doing it. That was my inhale. And then the best other kind of growl that I think that's out there is gore grind growls, and you got all different type of gore grind growls. You got your low ones, and then you got the cricket gore grind growl like Cemetery Rapist, which is cool. And then I don't know, there's some other growls, and I've been trying to learn some deathcore growls, because some of the deathcore growls I like, but I hate deathcore music. I hate deathcore a lot. A lot of people will be like, deathcore invented the highs and the lows. I'm like, well, death metal's been doing that ever since death metal's been around. It's always been the low death growl and the highest scream, or they don't scream, but putrid scream possible. You know, like Cannibal Corpse's lead singer George Fisher, his fucking highs are pretty killer and putrid. And the same thing with Chris Barnes and other bands like old school death metal like Exhumed. I don't think Deicide doesn't really do that many highs, but if anything, you know, deathcore is not the first bands to do that. Putrid Pile, I mean, you gotta look at Putrid Pile. That dude is fucking intense. His highs are awesome. You know, it's just that deathcore is more whiny and bitchy about it or something. I just can't stand that shit. I like it if the highs are putrid, like Gore Rotted's highs are cool, and there's been a lot, like death metal's been doing the lows and the highs for a long time. I think the only difference is that deathcore is just a break beat or a breakdown the entire song, it seems like. It's not, and almost everything sounds like Suicide Silence. And death metal, there's been like only 2 bands I think that in my entire time that I ever heard that sounds the same. And that's like Celiphatopsy or Celiphatripsy, I can never pronounce that name, and Devourment. And they don't sound the same. It's the drum techniques that the dude uses. Is like the drummer does a double gravity blast with both sticks, and I think that's it. But every deathcore band almost sounds the same, and I just don't know why people like it. Some deathcore bands I do dig, but if I like it, I don't think it's deathcore. That's all I gotta say. I don't know. I kind of dig Fit for an Autopsy. Trying to think what other deathcore bands. Technical deathcore is alright. You know, I think Rings of Saturn ain't that bad at all. I like Rings of Saturn. Trying to think of what other deathcore bands I might like. I like Despised Icon. I don't think Despised Icon's deathcore at all. But that's my opinion. Some other people might have some other opinions about that. And Terminally You're Aborted Ghost is pretty excellent. I like Terminally You're Aborted Ghost, but they're more of a death metal grindcore, which I consider is like the excellent deathcore, if it is deathcore. But they don't scream at all. I don't think they do. And I don't know, but I honestly think the newest thing that's going to take over metal, that's going to take over death metal and deathcore, because I've seen deathcore now kind of starting to rip it off, and I don't want to give them any ideas, but fucking death metal originated it, and if deathcore steals it, then fuck them, you know. Is slam death metal. Slam death metal is fucking, I think, one of the newest, best, heaviest things that are happening, and it's going to stay around, and it's going to last longer than deathcore. Like, I think that shit's going to be the newest thing. Ingested, man, I love Ingested. When their first fucking album was intense, and I thought that was the future of death metal, was the Ingested sound. And then their second album was was kind of like a little bit more deathcore-ish, and I still kind of like it, but I don't like it nearly as much as I like their first album. The first album's intense. But there's so many bands out there that are great, and I just go out and look for new bands every day. And slam is really seeming that it's the newest thing that's out there, and that's evolving. And before you know it, slam death metal will be the new deathcore, and everyone will fucking give up deathcore and be into slam, because slam is just intense. I'm loving the slam shit. The Gurchuk tree, I don't even know how they pronounce it. I know it's spelled the Gurchik or something tree. That shit's awesome. Her Virgin Womb, I don't think they're really slam, but Her Virgin Womb's awesome. A lot of good bands. Applaud the Impaler. A lot of people say Applaud the Impaler's deathcore. They're nowhere near deathcore. They might have a deathcore riff in there, but I don't. They're nowhere near deathcore. And I almost want to clear this up for the record. I don't think Waking the Cadaver's deathcore at all. I like Waking the Cadaver, and I like 50 fucking hundred death metal or hundreds of death metal bands. And I have argued with several people about this. They're like, "No, Waking the Cadaver is definite deathcore." It isn't deathcore. It's nowhere near deathcore. Um, if anything, I think they invented their own genre, just like how they say they are. They're slamming gore groove, and slamming and gore and groove is nothing of deathcore. They don't do no highs whatsoever. And I've been under the impression that all deathcore bands all do low growls and then high pitched screams, but obsessively. Like the high screams are absolutely annoying. They're horrible. I don't like them at all. The highs that I like are the highs that sound like putrid, maybe even a pterodactyl scream, or kind of like putrid pile, or like a fetus scream, like Chris Barnes's highs. I kind of like those type of highs, and some other. I'm trying to think of highs that I can do. Let's see. Wow. Nah, I can't even do it. The number one high that I can do is rising from the grave. You know, shit like that type of highs and other cool highs like that. Fucking. But like I say, I don't think Waking Endeavor is anywhere near deathcore. If anything, they're slam gore or something like that. They use two different growls. They use like a pig squeal and a growl you can't hear, and then an excellent kind of deathcore growl. But that's it. It's a deathcore growl, and I don't even know. The deathcore growl is awesome. I like the deathcore growl, but I hate the deathcore screaming. I can't stand that shit. And some of it's just somewhat annoying. The scream is obnoxious. It's horrible. And anyways, this was a how-do video to a death metal, deathcore debate, and blah blah blah, and some other bands that are out there. Like I'll say, I'll just growl for you one more time. And I practiced that for a long time. I'll growl anywhere, anytime, and that's just about it. If you want to growl, just listen to your favorite bands and just imitate that shit. That's all I gotta say. And however it takes for you to do it. How I did it, it seemed like I destroyed my throat and my vocal cords, but then it got better and better and better, and I growl from right here. And in the back of my throat and my tongue or something like that. So yeah. Thanks for watching this video, and if you have any gay comments or absurd shit, fuck you and suck a dick. Dying Fetus is the best band anyways, and long live slam death metal. Peace.